Salon of Traditional Paintings and Salon of Avant-Garde Paintings. Juror Stacy Dudley. Ferdinand Humbert, The Virgin, the Child Jesus, the Saint John the Baptist. This painting is being sent to the Salon of Traditional Paintings. Although it is a picture of the Virgin Mary and her Christ child with John the Baptist, it does not show any fictional elements and shows a mastery of the nudes. The artwork clearly was accomplished in a studio, as the brushwork is finished and nothing is left out in the lines and colors, which do not appear blotchy and like patchwork. The line work is smooth and even, showing the figures' bodies in the light, and their smooth naked skin shows a lesson learned from a master. It shows respect of the hierarchy of the genres, and the wrap around in the Virgin's head and the child's head are both symbolic to halos. The location of the painting takes place with a backdrop of the sky and trees. The sitting is like on a balcony in a large chair. The Virgin Mary wears red, and she is adorned with a headdress. The children are both naked, and John the Baptist looks up at Christ, who is pointing at the cross, referring to the crucifixion that is going to happen in his 30s. The floor is checkered with diamonds, and Mary's dress drapes onto the floor, creating unity with her in the chair and to the scene she sits in. The red color of the back of the chair blends with her dress, and the symbols on it create a contrast that is interesting on the sides of the chair. The overall scene has Gestalt principles and is smooth flowing. Leon Bonnet, The Crucifixion. This painting by Leon Bonnet has been sent to the Salon of Avant-Garde Paintings. The painting made it to the Salon, first created by Louis XIV because of its Academy standards. The art was accomplished likely in a studio, not in nature. The painting is finished. It has line over color, and the mastery of the nude is not paramount. Also, it is likely learned from a master, and it seems to respect the hierarchy of genres, where Christ is placed on the cross as a symbol of his sacrifice and humility as Savior of the world. The painting is an avant-garde and is not mythical or fiction in its representation. The painting sticks to a historical subject and doesn't display a naked nude close up and in a shocking way. Christ has a towel draped around his lower waist and isn't displayed as a newborn infant close up and naked. The painting doesn't verge away from its traditional contemporaries at the time. He's not depicting the natural world in an intuitive way, like Claude Monet. The brushstrokes are hidden, and only major outlines of his body shape can be seen. The lighting is dark, and only his body appears in the light and of the scene, showing the real representation of the event taking place at night time and in the evening when he was crucified, with lightning and darkness during a thunderstorm, and probably called out, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." This painting was accepted for its tendency to stick to a real representation of Christ's suffering and anguish in the moment he became the savior of humanity. Birth Marisot Le Berceau. This painting will be sent to the Salon of Avant-Garde Paintings. The artwork is likely made in a studio, but it doesn't look finished. The line is not over the color, and the brushstrokes of the artist stand out in the coat of the girl and in her hair. The drapery over the cradle look like globs of paint just falling over the child. The lessons from the masters is not clear in the representation of the skin, and the baby's face looks not very smooth and painted over with the white drapery. The face is hidden. The respect for the hierarchy of genres is not present, as the child isn't identified as one of the saints or a prominent person. They rather lay in a normal cradle. The woman looks at the baby almost angrily and tired as she rests her head on her cheek and looks downward. The woman is wearing the color blue, which would traditionally be reserved for the Virgin Mary, and she is not placed in a way that shows any significance in her position, as she appears to just be kneeling on the ground. Behind the woman is more drapery, and the lighting gets darker and more saturated to the right of the painting, hinting it could be a nighttime scene. Overall, the finish is not detailed enough, and the transitions aren't smooth enough to be a traditional painting. Edward Manet, The Railway. This painting will not be accepted to the Salon of Traditional Paintings, and it will be sent to the Salon of Avant-Garde Paintings. The painting does not meet some of the standards of the Academy. The painting is accomplished in a studio, but it doesn't look finished. Some of the details in the tree branch are left out and the smoke of the railroad looks blotchy. The brick the lady is sitting on looks unfinished and the brush strokes can be seen there. The mastery of the nude is not present and lessons from the masters of the past is not present in the smoothness of the skin and the softness of the clothing. The respect and hierarchy of genres is absent as the Virgin Mary often wore blue and in the image it is a regular woman with a younger girl who has a blue bow tie on. The scene takes place at a railroad and the sitter is not on a nice chair indoors or away from the smoke. The painting is rough and the dog sits asleep on the woman's lap like it doesn't want to be there and misses its mother. The woman sits reading a book. The title of the book and words are unknown and the small details are left out and not specifically identified to the viewer. Claude Monet, Poppies. The painting was sent to the Salon of Avant-Garde Paintings. The art is likely not accomplished in a studio and was not finished. The details of the lady's face in the field is left out and you can't see her eyes, mouth, or nose. The details in the trees are just blobs of color and not specific branches or leaves are made out. The field just squishes the flowers on the right or the wheat into blobs of gray in the painting. The painting does not show mastery of the nude as the figures are clothed. The painting doesn't show lessons learned from the masters of the past and the respect of the hierarchy of genres isn't apparent. The woman is wearing a royal blue, purple color and she has a blue umbrella, but those colors are not properly clothing the lady and they just look like the normal everyday dress. The boy is wearing a top hat and doesn't have a halo or anything around him, so he's likely not a Christ subject. There are three figures in the background. A woman with a young man and a white spot could be another person by the house. The sky takes up almost half of the painting and could be a reminder to look up to the heavens. The field takes up the second half of it and is filled with flowers and the other half is filled with cotton. References: Bonnet L. 1874 Christ on the Cross photograph Wikipedia. Hamber F. 1874 The Virgin, the Child Jesus, and St. John the Baptist photograph MO. Marisot B. 1872 Le Berceau photograph Wikipedia. Manette E. 1873 The Railway photograph Wikipedia Commons. Monette C. 1873 Poppies photograph Wikipedia Commons. Thanks for watching.